Okay, guys, we could go back to a regular session where everyone has their camera open. We're gonna go into a quick Q&A, and then we can continue the session based on our Q&As. What do you got to say about that?
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Good.
So,
Yes, did you do a
Sounds good.
session 2 days ago?
guys, tonight I want everybody to turn on your cameras. I only see 5 people with their cameras on. I don't want to talk to myself. Whether you have a bathroom rug on your head, underwear on, just turn it on.
I'm going to log on from my phone also. 1 second.
You'll see.
Ah,
When you say you see puts are coming in, heavy puts are coming in, where are you looking when you see that?
you got to give me a more accurate question and a
Okay.
time specific trade we took. Show me a time in the Discord when that happened so I can trace on the charts. You're asking me a general question. I can't answer that. Be more specific.
I'm sorry, I thought it was a general question, meaning like, you know
I
how
wish
we're...
if it was that easy, everybody would do it,
No, I figured maybe it's somewhere in the active trader, that's why. Like when you say I see heavy puts coming in right now, and it's not in the active trader, basically.
You need to give me a time that any event that happened, we can retrace it and talk about it.
Gotcha.
Asking me a general question like that, I won't be able to answer.
Why don't we go over yesterday when you were on, like, the puts or the calls were coming, your execution, what your mind was thinking, the EMAs, the Godzillas.
Okay, what is it that you want to ask me? Tell me. Just don't say the word Godzilla, please.
Just like you came in, you saw like, okay, here we go. Like how you were thinking the executions,
Yeah, I'm in the groove, I have a beat going on. I just go with the
yeah.
beat, and that's it. I just catch it. It happens like that, it's sometimes I can't explain it. It's a natural thing, and it just happens to me. It happened, took time, it developed, and you just start seeing things. It comes with time.
Can we look at a chart and you just like run it by it and just kind of give us that, that beat?
Show me a chart, then let's
From
get it.
yesterday when you were trading.
Give me a time and a trade that we took, because we took many trades yesterday, my friend. Ask me what I had for breakfast today. I don't remember.
Can we just like run through the trades and see like this is what happened?
Like run through the day.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Let's go back to
Yes.
Let's go to Bereshit. Okay. F for 248. Oh my God, I was on all day yesterday.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on a second. Yesterday was 15, right?
Yeah.
I was on the 15th.
Yeah.
I'm looking for it. 1 second. Yesterday.
And if you could share your screen and then we could.
1 second. I'm looking for
I'm actually looking.
I just wanted to say while Yossi is looking for that whatever happened on the session yesterday with the puts, for those who paid attention, today happened with the calls the same thing, the opposite direction. So if you guys paying attention and seeing and following, not just entering and exiting, but trying to see the setups, you'll see that what happened yesterday with puts happened today with the calls in the morning.
That usually happens often.
Yeah.
Right now, I see that happen a lot.
Let me check that out.
Please do.
Where do you see that?
Okay. Okay, finish up, guys. Let you guys do your thing.
Yes, did you record the session 2 days ago? I couldn't make it because it was too late over here when you started.
I'm having issues with my recordings lately, to be honest. I'm recording, it says it's recording, and then it just says it's rendering and rendering. I had to open a new account, so today it's a new account. Hopefully today it's recorded.
Okay.
Whatever is recorded, I can retrieve. Some videos are showing as rendering still, which is weird. That's why I couldn't even get anything out on my social media. I'm having issues with my recordings.
Okay,
Hence,
so you,
even the seminar video, I'm having issues bringing that one out. So, let's go and start talking about screen 3. Can you guys see the Discord?
yeah.
So I woke up in the morning. Good morning. I see calls for market open. But today I'll wait to settle. And then I'll find the trade. Don't get caught today. Don't be another money molester victim. Okay. And let me see how many of you are actually awake and active. And I was surprised to see a lot of reactions. So I said, okay, they're ready. So I gave you guys 2 strikes. I gave you guys the calls. All right. Let me bring the chart a little bit more closer. And we're gonna go on the 5-minute chart since you guys are so used to like the small time frames. Okay. Is that clear? You guys could see the chart right there.
Yeah.
Can you see the levels, the price levels here?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring the Discord page into here. And we'll talk.
Yeah.
Uh,
Perfect.
Good now?
Yeah.
Actually, hold on. Yeah, this is a good way to see it. So why I saw calls for market open? Because before market, pre-market, from 5 a.m., 6 a.m., what happened to the market? It took a dump, right? And look how look at the gap between all the EMAs. You guys see that?
Yeah.
But here, look at the gap. Look at the size here compared to here. You see the difference? So anytime the EMAs have a gap in between, at some point, they're gonna get back together, like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
So obviously it took a dump. It held the lines that it held the day before. If we scroll back on the same level, pre-market, then 2 days ago, held very nice. And that's why we drew these lines. Remember, we spoke about it on the last session we were talking? You guys remember this? We were talking about the session right around, it was here. Yep.
Yeah.
Here. So basically the market cracked. I saw it holding. I saw it wicking up and holding. So I said, this thing is definitely gonna come and squeeze up to either the 89 or to the 200. Same thing we see here if you go back in time. Okay. Well, I know what happened. Retested back to the 89.
Mm.
Now, sometimes it retests and it cracks. Sometimes it retests and goes up. but we don't care about what happens after. We care about that retest to the 989 EMA, right? So now let's go back to the day we were trading. So I saw a potential of this thing going up because I also in pre-market, I saw this getting wicked down.
Mhm.
That was an indicator of a big sale. I remember seeing on the on dark pools that there was a big sale that came in here. Usually, when I went to the stock market to visit with Sam, they took me to the section where it's all a bunch of computers and people have like separate stands. And then they have back offices, like, you know, in the casino, when you go, you have like high roller players.
Mhm.
So they have those sections, but half is for equities and half is for options. And they are basically buyers and sellers are there. They're agents that are representing the buyers or the sellers. So let's say a guy like Mr. Boris, you see Boris, the guy with the glasses and on the Zoom? Boris, you're the one with the hand, he's sitting like this. Boris, wave your hand, say hi. So let's say Boris is a big rich guy, he's a big hedge fund, and he has like 100 million sitting, and he decided one day to buy Tesla, right, at like 700, or let's say $50 compared to today's price. And Mr. Boris needs to liquidate money. And whether he's down or up on his position, he needs to sell it. But a guy like Boris can't just sell his position like that because he's going to tank the stock. You guys remember when we spoke about buying and selling heavy on your day trades, right? When you buy heavy, you pump the stock. When you sell heavy, you crash the stock. So big investors like Mr. Boris can't sell right away. They need to go to the exchange, to the actual exchange through a hedge. Hedge funds have access to the exchange. They call straight to the exchange downstairs. They say, hey, how are you? Blah, blah, blah. I have $80 million worth in Tesla shares. I need to liquidate. So there goes a guy in the stock market that starts to yell and looks for a buyer. And then you have a guy like Godzilla, Rafael right there. Rafael, say hello. And then you have a guy like Rafael with like $30 million desperate to buy. And then a guy like Boris says, you know what? I'll sell him for 30 million, a certain amount that's really worth 40, let's say 35 million. You know, instead of buying $50 worth of shares, he's getting a discount now. It's $35 a share. So even if he wants to sell 1,000 a share a day in the market, he's still making money because that was a transaction. So when these transactions happen, they don't reflect into the stock. And a lot of the times you'll see this happening pre-market or after-market. Some people be like, oh, it's a glitch. No, it's not a glitch. It's a big order that just came in, or a big sale order that just came in, but they're not letting that type of order affect the market. That's why the buyer or the seller is selling for either cheap or getting it for more, because it's, you know, it's through the exchange. The exchange is different. We're retail. In order for us to buy, we got to go through the exchange where everyone sees it. The buyers, the sellers, the market, you have the market makers, you have, you know, like the general public, everyone could see our transaction. And that's why the candles become big or small because of, like I said, so that's how I knew that a big order came in also in the morning. Okay. I saw the wick coming back up, and right here, what time was it that I posted in the morning? 9:26. 9:26, which was right around here already. I said, I like calls because I wanted this to touch the 89. We don't need to SPY to go from here all the way till here. You know, it's enough for us to go from here and market open to the 89. That's at least 150% in profits, no?
Yeah.
So we don't need to aim for a high move. That's how he played nice calls. And right after that, let me look at the Discord. Let's keep going at the time. And then around 12:28, I had the calls. Wait, this was yesterday. Yeah, 12. I had calls. 12:28. Somewhere around here. This is where I posted the calls.
You're also buying dips, I remember.
There, you guys see this? I'm gonna make a different color so you could see it more. Can you see this red color?
Yeah.
So somewhere around here is where I posted to get calls. And I also posted on my thing, it was an average of $1.80 and $1.49 is stop loss. So right here is where we bought it. We bought the dip. And then right away, that thing just started to jump up. Right, it jumped up somewhere around here. The first one, I remember this one. Came down, it jumped. We secured because of the volatility. And then at 12:41, right here, this candle right here, I wrote round two, $1.75 average, and then we started going upwards. Okay, now I kept writing Godzilla on the move was because I saw a move. Why? Because this white level that I have here is a major level, which it cracked. So obviously, if it's going back on the bull side, it's going to need to retest this major line, right?
Mm-hmm.
We call it, these are my grids, okay? If let's say you go on Thinkorswim options and you go to appearance and you click grid, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a grid in the background. You see all those little
Yeah.
lines? So beginners use those dotted lines for their for them to understand how, like, sections of where the candles are going in, like they want to reference it instead of just having lines, supports and resistance. They use the grid. I personally don't like the grid, and that's why I clean the grid.
Yeah,
And I use my own major grids. These grids came from the past, from previous supports and resistance that they constantly respect. So if you guys are using my charts that I provide you, you have most of the work done for you, okay? You just gotta trade the momentum. Look, from here, it was 383, 384 till 387, 388, $3 to $4 difference. Okay, even from here, 385 till 390, again, $4. $4 here, $4 here. Space gap in between. So that's why if you take 2 strikes up, 2 strikes down on either direction, don't, like, let's say if right here, if you see spies at like right here, for instance, look at this section. Let's say right now spies here is at 386. And I'm buying right now 384 or 385 puts. And every time there's dips, there's rips. There's dips, there's rips. There's dips, there's rips. But the big picture is every time I'm buying dips on the calls, it goes up. I buy dips on the calls, it goes up. I buy dips on the calls, it goes up. It gives me an opportunity to buy the dips and still keeping volatility. That's why I like a good gap of $2 for options. So sometimes you'll buy an option, let's say right here, it's 386. Let's say I went 386 calls and I'm buying all the dips on the way down and SPY's already at 384. You think that the 386 calls is going to move down here? No, it's going to move very slow. But if you're at 384 and you already had 384 calls from here, obviously it's going to cost more money. But what's the chances of you making money with strikes from here because it's cheaper, or strikes that are good here to give you a chance to buy the dip and secure your money on the way up? So don't get confused. Always look at $2 down. Okay. So if SPY's at 385 right here, so get 383 calls. So whenever you're buying the dip, you're gonna have a good chance of volatility coming back up again. But if you see a consolidation like right here, you see how SPY just broke out of this section and it just went up. So if you see a setup like this and you're at 386, don't get 384, get 385. Or if you want to go risky and you don't, because a lot of the times, look, before it goes up, they'll wick you down. So that's why I don't like getting stuff in the money sometimes, because you can have a risk tolerance and then that shit will stop you out. You'll panic. And we've heard someone in the previous session talk about how they sold a position when they weren't even supposed to. They were just supposed to buy the dip. So this will give you a better idea of how to be in the right position at the right time. So if you're playing puts, right? If you're in the low area of the chart, you want to buy $2 above or $3 above, depends if you know that this thing is coming all the way up here, So if I know throughout the day that this was a major resistance right here, you see that line?
Yeah.
And I know that here it held and it's trying to do a reversal. Not only I'm going to play the right chart here, I'm also going to play far out the money plays. You know what I mean? So an example. You see, you could get creative with it. It all depends on how deep and creative you want to be. Like you could play in the money, a little out the money, a little further the money. Yeah, you could play $2-3 difference in the chart. But what if a move like this could happen from here all the way there? You can also buy a strike that's higher for cheaper, that doesn't move, that will eventually move once it gets to here. You know what I mean? You noticed how throughout the end of the day, I like to buy calls or puts far out the money, and then SPY squeezes towards that direction. Sometimes we don't make money in those positions, and sometimes when we do, we make a good chunk. So
Your
this is-
lottos.
those are called lotto positions, exactly. So let's stick to the yesterday's trading session. Let's not get off of the track.
Yeah.
And
How do you
then
know when something is holding? Like you
holding what?
saying that it's holding. I know it's gonna go up. Like I see the hold.
Okay.
Like
So
what indications show that it's like holding?
what indication shows? I'll tell you what shows. Bigger time frames. We already spoke about it, where you could see wicks on too many candles, but when you go to the bigger time frame, like, let's say 30-minute.
Or 1 hour. I think you were doing 1 hour that day.
Yeah, even the 1 hour. You could check it on any time frame, bigger time frame. Look,
I remember you doing 1 hour that day.
yeah, even the 1 hour. This
Yeah.
right here is a confirmation for a breakout. This candle right here, I
Mhm.
go heavy right here. I even wrote to you guys sometimes during that day that I'm going in heavy, remember?
Yeah.
So let's go back to the Discord and we'll talk about it. And then I said set stop loss on your runners. This was right here. This is also why I said Godzilla's on the move. Okay, because this candle broke out the previous candle and the candle before that, which was a major resistance. Major resistance. Right? So when this thing broke out on a bigger time frame, I knew that, hey, man, this is supposed to be a nice consolidation right here. And then all of a sudden I see it wicking back up. And I remember saying, guys, look at the 4 hour. It's turning into a rocket. And over here somewhere I wrote, I'm going in heavier. And boom. So we're going to go to the Discord. We'll continue throughout the day. I said, if you have runners, set stop loss, 384 must hold, which was right here. This was the dip. Must hold. And we need to see it gap to the VWAP, which was right here, VWAP gap. Because
You
the
see?
previous, what?
You see, when you buy, when the candle breaks the line, or before that?
We bought it during this candle and we sold it during this candle. In
No,
the
but the
small
calls.
time frames.
Yeah, I know. But the calls.
And then when this happened, I remember saying that 384 must hold. The white line right here. You see 384. Right here.
Yeah.
This is 384. Right here. I said this needs to hold because obviously the white line that I have drawn here, this is a good risk reward area. One second.
But there you start the position, right? You go heavier after that.
Let me just let this person know. Okay. So yeah, I did. I remember saying let's make sure this holds, and then we're gonna go up. We need to gap up to the VWAP. And the reason why, for those who don't know or don't remember, the white dotted lines is the VWAP. So
Yeah.
my target was here. And then what happened? I saw it break over the VWAP. It broke over the previous candles, which was two major resistance here.
Mm-hmm.
And it held on a smaller time frame. Cracked, obviously, faked everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I remember noticing this thing wicking. And it wicked and closed right there. And that was the confirmation. So let's go back to the Discord. We'll keep scrolling down. This 1257, stop loss. Waiting for another entry, 383 area on SPY, which was right here.
Yeah.
And then I wrote Godzilla.
At what
This
time?
You'll see,
Got-
so the larger time frames hold more weight than the smaller time frames. Is that
Yes,
safe to
because the
say?
smaller time frame dip and then they have to come back. These just wick back up. They're easy to spot.
God.
Okay.
But
So
at
makes
4
more
hour,
sense.
they could wake up and down like a lot of times, though, no?
Here, right here. I remember this writing at 104. 104 right here. This is already 1 o'clock candle. At 104, I wrote adding calls. At 105, took off. Perfect timing right here. You know what I mean? And and that's
So
it.
the confirmation, the confirmation came when that next candle opened up, and it opened up on a bullish, and the wick was way more into the body than. I got you. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Okay.
But
that's
let me ask you something. I is it? I don't know if is it me or. Well, now that you clarified that, now that makes a big difference. Seeing and noticing that the larger time frames will carry more, they give you more of a sustainable answer and a translation than a smaller time frame. So because if with the psychology of trading, you can look, if you're looking for a bullish indicator, you can find a bullish indicator if you go through the candles. And if you're looking for a bearish indicator, you can find bearish indicator for the candles. You know what I mean? So it throws you off. You know what I'm saying? And being that you clarified that the larger time frame will give you a much more better clarification and confirmation than the smaller time frame, then it makes more sense to use the larger time frames for confirmation and smaller time frames just for the entrance and exits.
Hence the reason why I always talk about it on live voice. I'm always like, guys, look at the 30, guys, look at the 1 minute, guys, look at the 1 hour right now. Pay attention.
Yeah, you did that.
I'm constantly making sure that you guys know that I'm not just looking at my 1 minute chart.
Yeah.
All over the place.
And that on that second like large green candle, what do you do like in the moment when the body of it's like before like you see it, there's a wick down, but before that the body of the candle is going all the way down, and while it's going down, I mean, what do you do in the moment? Like, obviously you're still in the position, because I've been in that situation, and before it starts
talking about this candle.
Yeah, because before it was going down, right?
I remember it looked like a hammer going down, and I said, guys, it's an inside candle. I wrote it somewhere. We'll go later. We'll watch it. Inside candle.
Because I mean, I'm trying to get better at like staying in the play, because once I see that, I feel like I just get out, and then later I'm like, oh, I should have just stayed in. And
I feel like the puts are coming.
Yeah, so if we go into the smaller time frames here, like a 30 minute, you see it had a dip, right? It was cracking, knifing, but little do people understand that on the 30 minute, this was a breakout right here. This right here, this section. See that right there? Boom, broke out. So this cracked, no problem. If it holds over this section and it comes to this area, I'm buying. Because I'm not buying here and averaging down here.
Right.
I'm buying here, I'm averaging down here, I'm cutting here.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes the 1 hour is not so clear, so I'll use a 30-minute chart just to make another, confirmation.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
You got to think out the box, my friends. You got to be a little bit more, don't always get scared. Look at other time frames. See, pay attention. One time frame could show you it's faking out, and one time frame could show you a clear breakout. Sometimes our analysts, our analysts are doing a good job, but sometimes they're going to give you the wrong info because they're using mobile version charts. Sometimes you can't see these things on mobile. because you're only looking at one chart.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the 15-minute section. Look at the 15-minute. So when you're looking at the 15-minute, all those wicks that we saw right here are more clear. The deeper you go, the more cuckoo you're gonna get. But when you're using a big time frame, like the 1 hour, see clean candles and how they're just forming and breathing. You use that breather, you use the big support and resistance, and you use it, and you look at your little time frames to determine entry and exit. Okay,
And buying dips too, right? You look at the smaller picture to buy the dips.
like let's say the 3-minute time frame. See, it gets more and more clear. So you can't just stick to the 3-minute because it's clear. You guys just check the 5, check the 1, check the 1 hour, check the 30. Every time frame should give you a different understanding of the actual movement. Okay.
What's your favorite one? Which one do you like choose to use the most? Because for the new guys, it's
That's a
hard to
good
keep
question.
track of multiple time frames for like, if I'm starting out, I like the 5-minute because I do scalps more.
Every time frame gives you a better idea. Like
I still don't know how to
Like-
use the big ones.
it's okay. That's why it's gonna take you time. If you left me with 3 time frames, I will choose 5-minute, 30-minute, and 1 hour. But it's like telling me I'm giving you a fast car with no wheels. You know what I mean? You need the 4 hour. The 4 hour is gonna give you more direction. The daily is gonna give you overall trend. The weekly is gonna give you the weekly stance of where it's standing. The monthly, then you have the 3-minute is an entry, 1 minute is a scalping entry, 5-minute is intraday, 15-minute is direction, 30-minute is your trend, 1 hour is your for the day, 4 hour is for big time frames, like big moves, you know, how we determine Godzilla moves. You know what I mean? Every chart is different, and I don't know how to explain. When I find the right way to explain it, I'll say it. But other than
That
that,
was pretty. That was pretty clear right there. What you just said.
The lights were switching.
no problem. So am I missing anything? Is there anything else that you want to know? That you're asking me, or you want to finish going to that
Charting,
Zoom?
charting.
Charting.
You'll see how to spot the fake outs on the trends.
How to spot the fake out on the
Well,
trend.
let's finish the Discord. Let's finish the Discord, and then we'll move to another subject.
I like that, Godzilla. All right, so we finished here. Oof. Okay, and then we took puts, 387 puts. This was around at 2 p.m. 2 p.m. was right here. Right, sorry. One second, hold on a second. Lotto size, stop loss. At 210. 210. Yeah, I remember buying puts right here. And somewhere here, I remember getting stop loss, okay, 210 securing. Somewhere around here we were making, or it was this right here, this wick right here. We bought right here. I remember this right here was a good 30% profit.
Yeah, and then it started to go up, and you were buying.
And then securing, we kept runners, added some more somewhere around here. Once it started to take off, I bought the dips. Same stop loss. And then I let it go. Why? because this thing ran so high up that I even had to change, I had to just stay out and wait for the bottom, because sometimes averaging down is not the right thing to do, especially when you have a small account. You know, you're gonna pray to break even just to come back even, you know, like, so you need sometimes it's better just to cut and stay and wait for a good bottom. And that's what I wrote, let it go, right here. At the same minute, I remember I wrote, I'm adding again with the same stop, because obviously it started to wick back and again. And that's when I started to see more volatility on the downside. Okay. Same thing, $1.35 average, same stop. I'm cutting runners on calls because I obviously see that the trend up here is inevitable. It's better for me to switch my call strike from down here to up here, because it was already a breakout, and this is a nice support area because here broke out. You see it broke out here. It came back down to this section.
To the 89.
It doesn't necessarily the 89, it's just this area was the breakout. You see this area right here?
Yeah.
Right here. Broke out, held, flew up.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So this is an area to look for calls also, because this is where it broke out from. Same thing here, broke out, held, broke out, held higher. That's how you know a breakout's coming. Boom. Rejected, held, retested, and held, broke out again. And that's when just I kept zigzagging. So let's go back to the Discord and finish this up. New average, blah, 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 cutting my calls, runners on calls at 229. It was right around here, right here. New SPY. I remember changing my strike because I was playing this strike because we bought from here. It was already too high up. The ask and the bid was already playing, you know, weirded out. So I just switched the strike a little bit more up here, which was 389, because I saw that it was having a hard time breaking out. So there was no reason for me to go $2 up on the strike. So I played in the money in this scenario. Okay. And that's when I put a new strike, which was 389 in the money. It was an average of 88 cents, which was very cheap. 88 stop loss of $1.34 average. And that's when we started to, you know, see it coming down. And every time it came down, we just kept securing, kept securing, you know, keep running. Same stop loss to entry, blah, blah, blah. And then watch 389.02 on SPY. I might add for the fourth time, which was around what time? 237. 237 is right here. And I remember I was looking for a rejection here. And obviously it what's happened. Added, secure, blah, blah, blah. We added again. Added, securing, keeping runners, added heavy. Boom. When was the heavy? 245. Where's 245? 248. 248. This was 245 right here. So basically I saw this was a flag and a crack. So most of you know what this setup is. I don't have to teach you guys this setup. This is a setup that every beginner should know. Can someone tell me what setup that is?
It's a bear flag. Bear flag.
There you go. That's a bear flag. Just like there's a bull flag, there's a bear flag. A bear flag is basically a failed flag, a flag that didn't end up breaking out. So it becomes into a bear flag. And that's when we saw I saw the first candle right here become bearish. This one cracking, waking up, and then the next candle started to open up bearish. It wasn't even faking out. It was clearly saying, hey, I'm bearish. And that's when I wrote heavy. And right here is when we make good profits. That's a nice scalp right there. And let's bring back Discord. Heavy, secure on pops, secures, keep running, blah, blah, blah. 220, I'm all out. That was a good chunk. $1.20 added again. Same stop loss. This was at 256. 256 was right here. Somewhere around here. So it went up and right here came down. Every time the wick down came, that was another profit area for us. Same thing again, re-added again, added again. Every time it touched the top white line was my adding point. Because every time it touched the top, it was rejecting, 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 rejecting. Every rejection was free money. And that's what kept going. Added again, securing, added again, securing. Every time it touched the white line, I'm smashing the Pac-Man button on my puts. And
when you
I
secure, you do 70-30?
I always keep runners, obviously. Yeah. So I would buy here, sell here, keep runners for potential more down. And sometimes it will come up. I'll add more dips, sell the rips, add more dips, sell more rips, you know, rinse and repeat. Same thing here. This was yesterday. I posted a chart. Let's make this a little bigger. Posted this chart where it consolidated and I drew a break of a downtrend. And this was a nice setup. I like that nice doji in there. Obviously, SPY chart was also showing indications of, you know, going up. And you see this beautiful consolidation in there. Very small risk, but beautiful reward, right? And what happened? Just broke out. And we bought it at $1.35 or $1.45. It's already at 208. Here it's at 258, just shooting. This was a break of a downtrend on a bigger Godzilla candle, I would say. 258, and here it was at 310. So it was over 100% breakout on one trade. One. That was one of many that we took that day. So how I saw it, again, you see the setup on SPY before a nice breakout. This was what? This was a 390 put. 390 put. Yeah, 390 put. This was right here. You see this red play all the way down here? From here till here. This was the puts play that we played. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. Finish with the Discord.
Yeah, but you said that every time it rejected the white line, you went in for more. Round one, round two, round three. How do you know it's not going to break and then continue going further up?
I watch my position, of course.
Yeah, but look at that. It went really high. Like you didn't get scared. You added that there, but what if it just kept going?
Honestly, you know what
Is that a
gives
higher time frame?
you know what gives you more confidence to stay in a trade is by constantly securing house money. So when I see a trade, like let's say if throughout this whole day I'm already up, let's not talk about big numbers. Let's say I'm up 10 grand throughout this whole day. And here I put 3 grand and it's wicking. Would it bother me? No. because it's house money.
Right, but then it got rejected another few times, and then later on it
Every
went
time-
really high, and
Every
you
time
still
I
had.
reject, every time I rejected, I bought the dips. Let's say I made 10 grand. It just wicked again. It went all the way up here, and I just put another 1,000 on the dip. I didn't care because I have 10 grand up. I made more money. It went up, I put another 1,000. Went down, I sold it. It went up again, I put another 1,000. It went down, I sold it. I'm already up 7 grand. I put up another 1,000. Just giving you an example. Sometimes you're
Yeah,
gonna see on the downside where it's just waking, you buy call, sell, buy call, sell, Same thing here.
but
Buy call,
sometimes
sell,
after
you
a few
buy-
rejects,
So again, I'm not doing it because I feel I'm lucky. It's because I know the patterns. These patterns are happening in the market every day. If you put in chart hours instead of trying to make a banger, you're gonna pay attention to it. You need to study the market. You need to see how the market works. SPY is a very, very, people think SPY is an easy chart. SPY is not so simple, but it's very simple to the ones who are trading it on a daily basis. And you've been trading it for a very long time. You should pay attention more to the chart instead of the trade.
right?
It's important. And you have to understand, you gotta always have a set risk limit. You can't just go 10 contracts and then 10 contracts and then 10 contracts, and one time you say, you know what, fuck it, 100 contracts. Because usually that 100 contract position will wipe you out and your 10 other good trades you had before that. So if you're buying 10, stick to 10. If it does you justice, do justice. Listen, if you have a $10,000 account, your 10 should be a goal to go to 20, from 20 to 30, from 30 to 50, step by step. If you're going to be that guy that has a $10,000 account and you're going to want to, and in your mind, you want to turn that 10 to 100, you're going to, first of all, you're going to exhaust yourself. You're mentally going to be exhausted. You won't be able to trade normal because you're fiending for numbers that aren't realistic yet. And not only that, you'll end up burning your account because you don't feel those little wins. If you have a $10,000 account, your realistic goal should be is flipping that 10 to 20. That's 100%. Some people say, oh, I want to put 10 grand and make 100 grand out of it, but they don't understand that you just said 900% on your money. Is that possible? For a lotto, yeah.
Yeah,
How often do we get lucky with lottos? Not very often. Lottos, we only play with house money. We don't play with the original money. If I just threw a lotto play right now and you took that play with your main source of investment, you're making a wrong move. You should only take lotto plays with house money. If you don't have house money, you don't take the lotto play. You let it go. Because I don't always post a lotto play. And when I post, only use your winning money. Don't just come in and try to make another bang, because that's not going to work for you. You might get lucky, but then eventually you're going to wipe out. You're going to kill your confidence to trade. Don't do that to yourself. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Thank you.
Before anyone has any questions?
what I was just wondering was that after a few times something rejects, eventually sometimes it could break through. So how do you know? That's basically what my question was.
So mentally, this is my stop loss right here.
All right. Okay.
If you want to simplify it.
No, I thought maybe there's on the bigger time frames you saw something.
Yeah, you want to go bigger time frame? Let's go to a bigger time frame. Let's look at 15-minute, okay? There we go. See right here? Look at the day before. Look at the crack right here. Look at that crack. Boom. That knife. So you use this as reference.
Yeah.
Or right here, look at this candle. Look at the breakout candle right here. You see this right here?
Yeah.
So you use this as a mental reference, you know? Just look at the previous breakout and be like, okay, I have some sort of an idea of how far I can go. I'm trying to teach you how to be not an average trader. I'm trying to teach you out the box. Things that I'm
Yeah.
showing you here, a normal trader will not think that way. They're just going by the books. Whatever the book said they're gonna do.
Right.
So think a little bit out the box. You don't have to do everything the book tells you. Sometimes whatever the book tells you is it's just there to get you. You know what I mean? Like, or maybe just outdated information. For me, this is
Right.
what it works. I might sound funny. I might not sound like the most sophisticated person, but hey, it's scary. Lately, I have 100% win rate. You know, even 90%. It's crazy. I myself bug out sometimes in the middle, in the end of my trading day. I'm like, yo, did I just pull that shit today? You know, like sometimes, you know, you talk to yourself, and you know, I even learn from myself. It's crazy. Now I'm like a third person. I learn from myself. Sometimes I'm like, shit, you know, like I would say things. I'll be like, yo, I just learned it, even though sometimes your body knows it and then your mind clicks with it. You know what I mean? And the whole time you're like, I had it, but I just found, you know, it's this trading is just like that. Every day a new puzzle will fall into place, and you'll start seeing the charts different. You'll start seeing the market running a little different, you know? I just want you to know that a lot of you new people know things that some of my old students don't know. Like there's a lot of old students that aren't here. They're not as active because they think they know it already. They think they're good, you know, but some of them that join the voice session from time to time, they learn new things. And they're like, wow, I didn't know that. Like, wow, I had such a good time in the elite voice today. I learned. And I'm like, this is something that all the new guys are already knowing, you know, like, so the fact that you show up to every session, even though sometimes these sessions are boring, sometimes, you know, with these boring sessions, you have a good 20 minutes that just added another puzzle into your collection. You know what I mean? So I hope today you guys learned something. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, I'm going to give you another 5 minutes. I was supposed to
We have
get off
live tomorrow.
a long time ago. I don't want to feel overburned, guys. So
Can we
let's
do
go.
live tomorrow?
I don't want to say yes because for some reason, every time I post that I'm going to have it, I end up not showing up. The universe doesn't want to show up. So let me just show up, and you know, as soon as you see the good morning uprise for me, you know Yossi's ready to trade. If you don't see a good morning message from me, that means I jinxed myself. You know,
It's the snooze button. The snooze button.
you know what? Yes, it is definitely the snooze button. I really hope that you guys learned something from tonight's session. I want to get more.
Thank God I
going.
did learn two things.
What'd you say?
Thank God I learned two things that I really like.
Yeah, the difference in the EMAs. I never heard that one.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
The separation in the EMAs. I never heard that one. The gap.
Well, that means you're not looking at your charts.
Yes.
You're not paying attention. You need to look at these charts like you're inspecting a car, you're inspecting a jewelry, you're inspecting a girl before you, or a guy before you marry. You gotta inspect the chart. You gotta know how the chart is. You can't just, you know, like these things you guys should pick up on your own already. Like you guys gotta ask me, yo, Yossi, how come sometimes these EMAs are apart and sometimes they're together, or sometimes they flip? Like, what's up with that?
That was going to be my next question on mine. The next, I thought.
Yeah, that's not a question you should ask. That's something you should watch, and then ask. So what did you watch until now that you have questions? Like what? Tell me.
No, I wanted to know when the EMAs are all together and when they're separated. But now what you said today, that when they're separated, there's more of a chance of going up or
But not all the time. Sometimes
not
it
all the
could
time.
keep going and going and going. But you see when it dipped, every time the EMAs are before or every time the candles are before the EMAs, they're dipping. But once they get over the EMA, it starts to work way up, but it rejects, comes back down, rejects, come back down, then it goes above them, and then it goes under them, and it goes above them again, and it's holding. You see a good support, like a hand. You see this hand holding? See this hand right here?
Yeah.
It's like going like this.
Mhm.
You see a good support. You see the EMAs already turning on the upside. You see the other EMAs getting together. You know this thing is a squeeze, and squeezed. It rejected the purple because the purple is more like of a wall.
The 200, yeah.
Rejected the wall. Kept going. It kept going. It kept going. Wicking. Eventually, it did it. But throughout this whole wicking time, guess who's scalping it?
You.
Uprise.
Uprise, yeah.
We're scalping it together.
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
You know, and most people don't trade the same options that we're trading because we're trading a little bit before the money versus buying it cheaper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. I really hope you guys learned, and Bezrat Hashem, God willing, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I don't want to jinx it.
Oh man. Thank you.
No worries. Thank you, bro.
Could you send me
Thank
the
you,
recording?